And welcome to Ramadan Radio 87.9 FM. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening from. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my dear sisters and brothers of other mothers. You are listening to The Mindset Show with your host, coach and trainer of NLP and hypnosis, Mubashar Latif. And this is Ramadan Radio. We are now in the third week of Ramadan. Where has it gone? And also, we have a fantastic show for those that have been following on the Mindset Show. We are today talking about none other than, or more things around mindset and coaching. If you have any questions, comments, do phone in and message on 077 614 60614. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu Wasallam. We begin in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we bear witness that there is none other worthy of worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last and final messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we make dua that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us on the straight path, sirat al-mustaqim. Ameen. My dear sisters and brothers, father and mothers, as we said, this is the third week of Ramadan. Where has this gone? Right? Where has this whole month gone? How will you go through the remaining of the month? And what are you going to take with yourself? Right? What are you going to take out on the other end? Because none of us have truly done as much as we could, right? And if any of us say, oh, we've done as much as we could, then we haven't reached our potential at all, right? Because we've settled for a certain standard where we know that we can do more. But then on the other hand, if we haven't done as much, right, which normally is the case every Ramadan, doesn't matter how much you do, you can always do that little bit more, squeezing out that little bit juice, a little bit more, right? That last drop, that extra zikr, that extra prayer, the extra reading the Quran, right? You can always do that little bit more. And what does this tell us about the rest of the year? This is what we've been discussing for pretty much like the whole of these shows, is how you can go forward, right? How you can change your mindset, what you can do, not what you've done, right? It's not a matter of dwelling on what you've done in the past. It's a matter of going forward with where you are right now. And that's what matters, right? That's what matters. So what are we talking about today? Today, my dear listeners, my dear sisters and brothers of other mothers, we are talking about NLP, right? This is a major, powerful tool, mindset tool to change your mindset, right? And it can help change and help transform your life. It can help you overcome your fears, eradicate your limiting thoughts and beliefs, right? So if you had a fear or phobia that's been holding you back for years and years since you as a child, this can help let go of it within a session or two. I mean, I've seen this and I've done this many times with my clients, So if you want to let go of a fear or phobia, NLP can help. If you want to let go of your limiting beliefs and thoughts, any limiting belief or thought that holds you back, right? Anything, limiting belief is anything that holds you back. Any negative belief. So for example, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I can't achieve this, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm of this culture, I'm of this background, I'm of this religion, I'm of this faith, I'm not educated enough, I'm not experienced enough. Some things, maybe yes. For example, if you've never been to university, you would still need to study and you couldn't just practice medicine or law, for example, right? So you would still need to study. But then we have the limiting beliefs. I'm too old. I've been through life. I've been through careers, or my children are grown up now. How can I go back and study? You absolutely can, right? You absolutely can. Many years ago, when I was at university, I was at Birkbeck College, which is a University of London, and it specializes in part-time degrees, evening degrees for mature students, right? So for working people, for adults. And one time we're waiting for in our lecture for the lecturer to come. And then we were all talking amongst ourselves and so forth. And then we saw the lecturer came. He came in his suit, he came in his leather bag, and he had his grey-white hair, probably more white than grey. And he came and we were like, everyone's like, quiet, okay, the lecturer's here now. And he sat down, he put his bag down at the front, and he sat down. He was a student as well, right? He was a student, even learning at that age, right? We all thought he was a lecturer, he was a professor, he was a student learning at that age. There is no limit, my dear sisters and brothers of other mothers, to going out, to retraining, to learning, to doing whatever you need to do, right? So whatever you have or haven't done in life before, it doesn't matter. What matters is going forward, right? Going forward. If you look at a lot of the successful businesses, big brands, right? They have a lot of their founders were, after the age of 40, older than 40, 40, 50, 60, even 70, right? I'm not saying wait till your 70s. May you live a long, healthy life. I'm not saying wait for many, many years. But the point is that it doesn't matter what has gone before, right? These are limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves on a daily basis. Excuse me, right? We tell ourselves, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that, or I can't do this, right? And when we say I can't do this, what you're actually saying is I can't do this because of him, her, them, or that situation or that thing, right? So because of my parents, because of my husband, my wife, my children, my teacher, or the prime minister, the dog next door who ate my homework, or the boss, whatever, I can't do it because of them. That's what happens when we say, that's what we're telling ourselves when we say I can't. But what if we now say to ourselves, I won't do it because of XYZ. And when you say I won't, then now responsibility comes back onto yourself, right? Responsibility comes back onto yourself because now you are taking responsibility and you now look at the issues and you look at the reasons and you start to address them. But when you say I can't, it is saying I can't do anything. It isn't my fault. It isn't my fault that now it's raining and I'm all drenched wet. Yes, fair enough, you can't do anything now that it's raining, that you didn't know it's raining, or you'd forgotten, or you didn't check the weather. But now, what can you do next time going forward in next time when it's going to rain? You can check the weather forecast beforehand. You can keep that umbrella or that hat with you in your car. Yeah, preparation, being aware, having that awareness. So now it's rather than saying rather than saying I can't, do anything about it because I'm going to get wet. Turn it around and say, I won't do anything about it. What won't you do? Or rather, what can you now do? Or what will you now do? Yeah, changing the language is very, very powerful. So these are limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves, that you tell yourselves from as a child. When you were young, right? You fell over in the playground, you hurt yourself, and they laughed at you, right? And then you went through school, college, you made mistakes in your schoolwork or in your coursework or in your group activity or in your whatever presentation or in your sports activity or when you're playing football or whatever games you're playing in PE or lunchtime, and they laughed at you. And then you went through university and you made some mistakes and they laughed at you. And then you made some mistakes when you went through life, you went through work, they laughed at you. And then you made mistakes when you were in your workplace, right? And they laughed at you. So all in all, we keep playing that over and over again that they laugh at us, right? But as a child, so if you've got your young children or niece or nephews, or you remember your children many years ago when they were younger, you will see that as a child, and even yourself, that you'd fall over, but you'd keep getting up. You know, how many times is a child told, either you told your own children or your parents have told you when you're younger, is you've hurt yourself, you've fallen over, no more running around, no more climbing, sit down quietly. Does that happen? Absolutely not, right? Because now you're going to carry on going, right? You're going to carry on going. And where children get that energy from, I don't know, because they don't eat half as what we do as adults, right? But then when you get through later in life, whenever you fall over, like in the playground, or you fell over as a child in the playground, but when you now fall over through life, when you make mistakes through life, you don't get up again. You stay down. You stay down whilst, metaphorically, just like all the children are just carrying on playing. They're falling over and they're carrying on playing, whereas you're staying there, staying down, and you're crying and you're rubbing your knee or rubbing your elbow. You've hurt yourself, right? And this is what we do. And these are how we tell ourselves these stories as we get through later in life. It's very, very powerful. Limiting beliefs. What we tell ourselves shape our world, right? Because life isn't about, you can't control what anyone says to you. You can't control what they say to you, right? Or what they do to you. You can always control how you respond. Yeah. So if if your husband, wife, or your parents, or whoever, or even your siblings, they've come home and they're annoyed about something or whatever, or they tell you to tidy up, you can start screaming, shouting, or arguing and fighting, or saying whatever, right? Or you can, think, okay, let's look at this situation. They've come home, or they've come into the room, and they're telling me off for something. They're having a go at me. It seems like they're angry at me about something that maybe they've had a bad day. So you don't argue back, you don't fight, and so forth. You then give them time and space to do whatever you need to do. And if it's something you need to do, okay, fine, you need to do it. And when they've cooled down, then you speak to them. You have that conversation, right? And if on the other hand, you are the one getting angry, then as quick as you are getting angry, be as quick as you can to be apologizing, because there are 10 ways of saying something. And getting angry and screaming, shouting is not the best way of all, right? So NLP, so if you have fears or phobias to overcome, right? If you have a fear or phobia that's holding you back, like say heights, or flying, or spiders, or creepy crawlies, then NLP can help with that. If you have limiting beliefs, right, anything that holds you back in life, then you can overcome those, right? If you need to eliminate, fear of public speaking, right, or reduce your stress levels, reduce your anxiety levels, reduce your so forth, and reduce, rather than getting so overwhelmed about things, right? If you want to feel more motivated and inspired about your life, if you want to change the way you think about the past mistakes, the way you want to think and feel about past mistakes or challenging events, either in your relationships, in your health, in your business, in your finance, in your work, whatever. If you want to increase your confidence, do you want to increase your confidence, right? Ask yourself, do you want to increase your confidence? Do you want to feel more motivated and inspired about your life? Do you want to communicate with yourself and others more effectively, right? Ask yourself if you want to. Ask yourself if you want to form and enjoy happy and lasting, rewarding relationships. If you want to improve your relationships with your spouse, your husband, your wife, your partner, your parents, your children, your boss, your colleagues, your siblings, do you want to improve your relationships? Ask yourself, right? Do you want to improve the physical and mental health and your emotional well-being, right? Ask yourself your spiritual well-being, your physical well-being, your mental well-being, right? Ask yourself, do you want to improve these areas? Are these areas that you've been wanting to improve or lacking, or you are stuck trying to do it on your own for many, many years, right? Do you want to get that dream job or career or promotion, right? Do you want to feel that inner peace, that calm, that sense of knowing, right? Is that something you've been longing to do? Have you been searching for that? Maybe your approach isn't right. Maybe your avenue isn't right? Maybe you want to achieve some goals in life. You have some visions, some aspirations, right? Ask yourself, do you want to change how you feel in certain situations? Change how you feel about the past, right? Change what you feel is truly possible. Change what you believe about what is truly possible, right? Do you want to achieve exceptional performance in life? Ask yourself, do you want to achieve that happiness and success in life and be more fulfilled, right? Do you want to improve in your relationships? Do you want to improve in your health? Do you want to improve in your spirituality? Do you want to improve in your faith? Do you want to improve in your finance? Do you want to improve in your relationships with your health, relationships with sleeping, relationships with your, with your food, relationships with your body? Do you want to understand yourself even more? Are you the type of person who's always given time to others, but never taken time for the for the one in the mirror? Right? Have you always taken out time for your parents, your partner, your husband, your wife, your work colleagues, your children, your boss, your employers, your employees or your colleagues or whoever? You've taken out time for anyone and everyone else in the world, right? And even, your neighbors, someone walking down the street, you've taken out time for them. But when are you taking time for yourself? Ask yourself, why are you not worthy of giving yourself some time? It isn't selfish. It isn't egoistic, right? The analogy, the example they give is that if you're flying on a flight, and I know many of you haven't been on a flight for probably over a year due to the current situation, right? So you haven't been on holiday anywhere. But if you're going on holiday somewhere, and the air hostess, what do they tell you? Always put God forbid if there's ever an emergency, when you put your gas mask on, your face mask on, what do? You always put your one on first, because whenever you put your one on first, then you can help others, right? Just like if you're driving in your car, you put your seatbelt on first, and then you ensure everyone else has their seatbelt. Because if you are not safe and protected, and it's more chances then of the car going in all directions, or something happening, or if you have to suddenly brake and a chance of an accident, right, and impacting everyone else if you haven't got your seatbelt on. Yeah. And in this, because you are the driver, you are driving the car, you are behind the driving wheel, right, the steering wheel. So if you have greater safety for yourself, then you're in a position to greater control the car. And if you're in a position to greater control the car, then you are in a position to greater do what you can to ensure the safety of your passengers, be that your family, friends, work colleagues, whoever. Similarly, my dear sisters and brothers of other mothers, why are you constantly taking care of everyone else without taking care of yourself? Right? It isn't selfish at all. It isn't egoistic at all, right? Unless, or not unless, sorry. Otherwise, on the other hand, it's more the opposite, right? Or it's more self-inflicting on yourself. It's self-sabotage of yourself, right? It's self-sabotage. You are sabotaging yourself. You are causing self-harm to yourself emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, if you're not taking care of yourself. You have to have that self-care. Self-care is absolutely paramount, right? From a faith perspective, religiously, looking at the example of our beloved Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings be upon him, and the example of any other role model you want to look at, right? Any and every successful person has self-care. taking care of your health, taking care of your diet, taking care of your sleep, taking care of your, your physical, mental, physical, spiritual health, emotional health. No one else can do that for you, right? No one else can do that for you. Yes, if you've got young children, someone can temporarily, if they were for an hour or 2 hours, to look over your children or watch them or take care of them. That could be an option, whether it's a friend or family, right? But no one can eat your food for you. No one can sleep the right hours for you. No one can take that self-care and take care of yourself for you. No one can go for that exercise or go for that walk even. And so you feel the effect of it. No one can eat sensibly, so you feel the effect and it impacts your body. No one can sleep properly, so it impacts your body, right? No one can talk about things that you are feeling inside and how you are feeling them, because how you are feeling and thinking them, no one else can feel and think those things and those thoughts. So what you are feeling and thinking, right? Only you can express it in the way you are feeling and thinking it, which means what? Only you can express it. Only you can share it. Only you can talk about it. And as I say, problem shared is a problem halved, right? So if you are wanting to achieve any of these things, right, to overcome a fear or phobia or eradicate limited beliefs, overcome public speaking or stress and anxiety levels, reduce their stress and anxiety levels, overcome how you think and feel about your past mistakes, right, or your regrets, or your guilt trips, or anything as such, or whatever you want to call it, or your challenging times, or your failures, right? And actually, in coaching, we have a belief that, excuse me, we have a belief that there is no failure, right? There is no failure. Failure is only just giving up. Failure is an indication of whatever didn't work. Failure is an indication of whatever you've constantly tried or whatever approach you've tried, could be the 10th time or whatever. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's what failure is telling you. Failure, and we say there's no failure, it's only feedback. So when you make a mistake and you don't get the results you need, what has happened? When you fall down, when you collapse, when you break, what has happened? Let's look at that, right? Because when you hit rock bottom, when you feel so weak, right, then the only way you can go, because when you hit rock bottom, then you can't go lower, which means you can only go up. And when you feel so weak, whatever you was doing that was keeping you strong isn't working anymore, because now you're feeling weak. So now you need to find something else to lift you up and take you further and feel more strong and be more strong, right? That's the power. And that's how you can turn things around and look at things from a different perspective, which we call in coaching as reframing, right? Framing it in a different position, moving that frame about. Yeah. Powerful, powerful. It is very powerful, the language and the words that you say to yourself. So this is NLP, neuro linguistic programming. If you want to achieve any of these things, right? Any one or more of these things, of overcoming fears, eliminating your limiting beliefs, reducing your stress and anxiety levels, right? Feeling motivated and inspired in your life, right? Changing the way you feel and think about your regrets, your mistakes, your failures, or your tough times, your adversity, right? Or whatever negativity you've gone through in your relationship, or your health, or your finance, right? Or improving the communication with yourself and others, improving the relationship with yourself and others, right? And being more happy and long lasting, right? Going for that dream job or that promotion or that business, right? And attaining that inner peace and that satisfaction and that calmness, right? Or achieving your goals, setting goals, right? And achieving your goals, right? And there's a big difference between goals and dreams. Most of us have dreams, right, which I've covered before in my previous videos, so please go and have a look at them. And just really realizing your potential. If any of these are appealing to you and you would like to pursue any of these areas or achieve any of these things, right, one or more of these things, or anything else along these lines, then NLP is for you. And what does NLP stand for? Neuro linguistic programming, right? Neuro is your mind and body connection. Language is your language, your verbal and your non-verbal communication. And your programming is the link between them, right? So it's the link between your mind body connection and the language that you use daily, verbal and non-verbal. So what you say, how you say it, right? And your body language. What are you telling yourself daily? What are the thoughts that you're feeling, right? What are your thoughts that you're thinking? What are your emotions and feelings inside? What are you telling yourself? What are your daily actions? What are you doing? What behavior is that resulting into? Yeah. Is there slow progress, or is your life at a standstill? Right? Neuro linguistic programming. So it's looking at the strategy of how you do your actions, your behavior, your thought patterns, and so forth, and it's changing that strategy. Because when you change that strategy towards something that's more beneficial to you, something that serves you more, something that is going to take you forward, then you will achieve so much more. But if you are doing now things that don't benefit you, so you have a strategy for everything. You have a strategy for how you sleep, how you eat, how you drink, how you talk, how you walk, how you dress, how you do anything and everything, the smallest things to the biggest things in life. You have a strategy, a roadmap, right? You have a route of how you do that. You have an ingrained, genetically within you, ingrained, you have a sat nav or a TomTom or a Google Maps, if you want to call it, right? You have that within you of how you do certain things. You always know where you are, you know where you want to get to, even though it's not very clear, or even though it's quite fuzzy, or even though it may not be beneficial to you, you know where you want to get to. And you find some sort of zigzag route to get there, right? Now, whether that serves you or benefits you is a different question. Whether that's helping you move forward in your life towards your true purpose is a different question, right? But the fact of the matter is that you have a roadmap, you have a strategy for anything and everything that you do. And you can change that strategy. So you might say, well, I've had this behavior, I've had this habit for many years, I've had it for decades, I can't get rid of it, right? It's impossible, it won't happen, right? And it's not a case of can you help my husband, my wife, my partner, my boss, my siblings, my XYZ, right? Or my friend or whoever. Can you help them? If they don't want to change, then they can't be helped. The doctor, your GP will not go around knocking door to door and say, who is ill? Let me give you a prescription. Let me give you some medication. The GP can only help the patient who is in front of them, right? How many times have you felt sick or felt not well and you felt that, and you think, okay, I'm not going to go to the GP? Or you tried to get that appointment, you waited ages in the queue and you tried for a few days on end and you can't get an appointment and you think, oh, forget it. I'll just, just take a few painkillers, take some rest or whatever, and I'll be fine. And then you are fine. Or later, or on contrary, you might not always be fine. And then you have to, have more medication, or you have to go to the doctors, and then you have to persist in trying to get that appointment, or getting seen by the GP, or getting seen by the out of hours GP, because now it's come to that you must have that medication. Similarly, as a coach, I'm not going to go to you door to door, or I'm not going to help someone who doesn't want to be helped. Right. So if you have these issues, if you have these challenges, if you have any of these, right, then and any of these goals or aspirations, or any of these or limiting beliefs that hold you back and they've been holding you back for years, or you've got any habits you want to overcome, or you've got challenges in your sleep, you've got sleep problems, or you want to give up bad habits like smoking or nail biting, right? Then I can possibly help you. Then you can reach out. I'm here on Facebook, and you can just find me on Facebook, right? But it comes down to you. You have to initiate it. You have to be at that stage where I want to now change, right? Because if you don't want to change, then no one can help you. You can have the, the top people in personal development, or the most successful people, or people, even if they have to pay you, if you are not willing to change, they'll give you every tool in the book, every religious tool, every personal development tool, every whatever, etc., 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 right? They'll give you anything and everything that you need, but you have to just get up and just do it and make that effort. Just like if you're sitting at home, right? For many of you who are fasting, and when it comes to fasting, at the end of the day, when you've got to open your fast for the iftar, to open your fast, now that food won't get prepared by itself. If it's something in the fridge, it won't get heated up by itself. If it's something that needs to be cooked, it won't get cooked by itself. You need to physically get up and do it. If you sit there and wait for that food to be prepared, wait for that food to be warmed up, wait for that food to be cooked, will that ever happen? No, absolutely not. The only way you're going to get that food from wherever it is, or to a state, or to a food where in a way where you're happy with it and it's ready for you to eat, is if you prepare it, cook it, or warm it up, or even if someone gave you some food. At this time of the year, a lot of people share food. Food coming from family, coming from your neighbors, coming from friends, or whoever. They might drop off some food for opening your fast. Even that food, it won't just automatically come to you. You have to undo the wrapping. You have to take it out. You might need to put it in a plate, or if it's just finger food, you can just pick out a few, whatever you need to do. But you need to move. You need to make that action. Similarly, how long have any of these such limiting beliefs, or any of these fears or phobias, or these stress levels, or anything as such, been holding you back? How many years have you felt stuck in your life? How many years has your life not moved forward? How many years have you been keep telling yourself you're not worthy, you're not worthy enough, you're not valuable enough, you're not lovable enough, excuse me, you're not worthy of success, right? Who are you to succeed? How many times have you told yourself this, right? Doesn't matter if you're a brother or a sister, a man or woman, young or old, single, married, kids, whatever. Doesn't matter what stage you are at life, right? Anyone and everyone has had and been through these. What are your fears that are holding you back? It might not just be a fear of spider. You might not have a fear of spiders, but you might have a fear that what if I fail, right? Or what if I don't know what to do next? Or what if I this or that, right? So you've got to ask yourself, when is a time to move forward in life? Because you only have one life. How long you're going to live, no one knows, right? And it's not about what's all that's happened and all in the past. It's not about the traffic jams you had on the way and the road diversions you had on the way in your journey. It's about going forward from where you are now, right? You've passed all the traffic jams, you've passed all of those. Yes, you might get more traffic jams and road closures and diversions and bad weather on the way. And that's fine. But are you going to stay down and say, oh gosh, life is terrible. I've had all of these, this journey is so terrible. I've had so many road closures or this, that diversion. Yes, you can have it. But what is the purpose and the reason of your destination? Where are you going to? Why are you going there? What is the benefit in going there, right? You could have stopped anyway, or you could have gone anywhere else. Why are you going to that particular journey in particular? See, we know where we're driving to. No one gets in a car and just say drive. Hours passed, drive. You have a destination to go to. Yes, it might take you long with traffic or whatever, but you always have a destination to go to, which is a clear-cut destination. And sometimes you have a time on that as well. I need to be there by this time. If it's going for work or for a meeting or meeting a friend, whatever that is, right? You have a clear-cut destination. But why then do you not have a clear-cut destination in your life? Why is it that I'll deal with anyone and everyone and anything and everything else first? And if I get time, or when I get time, I will deal with myself. When do you even slow down in the day? Do you slow down in the day? Do you even give yourself time? Do you even stop and put your chores or your household chores or your work or your family and everything and say, right, this is my time out, my half an hour or 1 hour or 2 half an hours a week, or a 1 hour a week or 2 1 hours a week spread out in the week. This is my time, right? This is my time, and I'm going to stay in this time, and it's going to allow me to think. And what are you doing in that time if you allocate yourself that time? Most people that I see do not ever allocate themselves such time, right? And I don't just mean getting pampered, or if you're a lady, just if you're a sister, do your makeup, whatever, or if you're a guy going to the gym or whatever, right? I don't just mean that. I mean generally just sitting down and just quietly listening to yourself, listening to your thoughts, clearing your mind, listening to your breathing. When was the last time you listened to your breathing? When was the last time you even focused and realized your own pace of breathing? That's just that. And on that something so small, yet it is something so big. When was the last time you gave time out from the hustle and bustle of life for the one you see in the mirror? When was the last time you did that? And how often are you doing that? So this is what NLP is, neuro-linguistic programming, right? It doesn't look at weeks and months and years of who did what. Is my husband, my wife, my partner, my children, my boss, my parents, my this and that, whatever. It doesn't look at who did what and so forth and open everything out. It's not like a soap, right? Or a drama series that's like never ending, right? And who did what and so forth. It's looking at how you're doing it. It's looking at the route that you're doing it. And we change the route. We change the strategy. We look at what strategies benefit you, keep them. What strategies do not benefit you, whatever behaviors, whatever habits, whatever self-talk, whatever dialogue benefits you, keep it. Whatever doesn't benefit you, right? We look to overcome that, right? And this is a power. This is why you need NLP in your life. This is why you need to understand this. This is why you need to learn this. And this is why you need to reach out to a professional, to an expert who can help you in that field, and or rather help you overcome using these powerful tools of change, right? It's a powerful mind changing technique, which a collection of techniques which came about in the 70s, right, in California. And it's used widely, worldwide today in every area of life. Teachers, mothers, fathers, husbands, daughters, brothers, sons, wives, teachers, doctors, lawyers, engineers, dentists, anyone and everyone. Or, there's someone out there in any and every field who has learned this, right? This is what makes it so powerful, and it's so applicable to any and every area of your life, to improve your life and to really change how you look at things in your life. And this is why it is so absolutely important and crucial for you to understand this modality and for you to learn this, because these are powerful techniques that can help you get rid of habits and behaviors that you've had for many years, right? Quit smoking, nail biting, sleeping challenges, eating challenges, right? If you've got unhealthy eating habits, if you've got unhealthy sleeping habits, or anything unhealthy, If you want to boost your confidence, you want to be more motivated, it can help you with that as well, right? So it can help you with many things, but it's your choice. And you have that choice. And your life won't change overnight. It never ever will. So if anyone ever tells you, any coach, any practitioner, any personal development guru, or anyone tells you to change your book, or any book that tells you that you can change your life overnight, run a mile from them. Learn what they have to say or see what they've got to say, but generally run a mile from them, because you cannot change your life overnight, right? Nothing in the world can make you change your life overnight. No modality, no techniques, no training, no whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. But the decision to change your life can be in a moment. You can take that decision right now if you want to. And from this point onwards, as long as you take consistent, regular action towards that new path, then it will become second nature. Initially, it will be uncomfortable, right? And it will feel strange and weird. But very shortly, it will then become a continuous behavior, and it will become a habit, and it becomes second nature. And that will now become your new habit, right? So always look at where you are and where you want to go. And always remember, no matter what happens to you in life, you have that choice to turn things around. You can turn things around right now, or next week, or next month, or next year, or in 10 years' time, if you choose. The choice is yours, right? And life will only ever change when you make that decision. Thank you so much, Jazakallah khair, for listening, my dear sisters and brothers of other mothers. You have been listening to the Mindset Show with your host, Mubashar Latif, on Ramadan Radio 87.9 FM and online, ramadanradio.org, live on Facebook and YouTube. Please share with your family, friends, and relatives. Until next time, take care. Assalamu alaikum.